The 3DS is nice and all, but if you like something that fills out your hands a bit more and has a bit more to fiddle with, have I got the thing for you. This is a Circle Pad Pro, or in Japan, the Slide Pad Expansion. This is an official Nintendo product which adds a second joystick to your 3DS. It also adds ZL, ZR, and an R trigger. As well as that, it makes your 3DS quite chunky. It supports a whole 29 games, which if I'm honest is more than I thought it was going to, and I've only got 2 of them, one of which I bought from Target back in the day after 3 price decreases from $59.88 down to $14. This expansion is kind of strange because it has no physical connection to the 3DS. The only ports on the 3DS are for headphones and power. So the Circle Pad Pro takes one roundy boy of the anti-chongus variety. Down in here is actually an infrared transmitter. Your button inputs from the Circle Pad Pro get sent wirelessly via invisible light pulses to the infrared receiver on the back of the 3DS at point blank range. The 3DS sort of just jams in there against the rubber. It's quite sturdy though, it's not falling out. And quite annoyingly, I now have to take the 3DS back out again to put the game in. But now I've got a lot of shoulder buttons. It looks like R is just moved to here for ease of access, so that's nice. And L doesn't need to be relocated because ZL is directly below it. And I can't even get the stylus out. I just wanted to enter my name into this game. This is actually quite annoying. Why did they cover up those ports? James Char. I will be guest A. Wow, this looks reminiscent of Super Smash Bros. I have played this before, but not for a very long time, and I really don't remember it. Control configuration? I'm not seeing a Circle Pad Pro in here. It does say Circle Pad Pro compatible on the box. Oh, it's working. All right, okay, so maybe it just works. Is it gonna show in here now that I've actually touched it? No? Cool, all right. Well, solo it is then. Wait a minute. Is this just mirroring the controls on the other side? Well, I guess I'm doing it. I'm using the Circle Pad Pro. I can use the R button instead of the L button, even though it told me to use the L button. It's not really adding anything to this game at all, except for maybe input lag. It feels a bit laggy. Actually, I think that might just be the game. The other stick feels very similar. Yeah, it's just a slippery game. Well, I can confirm that the Circle Pad Pro is working. It definitely does not need to be used for this particular game. It's very pointless. Unless you're left-handed and you want to use your right hand, that doesn't even make sense either. But what if this isn't big enough for you? What if you want the biggest of the 3DSs? The 3DS XL won't fit in this one, will it? Well, don't worry, they accommodated everyone. The 3DS LL/XL Circle Pad Pro. Mine has weird swirly marks on the plastic, even though it's brand new and this just got opened the other day. And strangely, the Circle Pad itself seems to be worse quality than this one. I guess somewhere between 2011 and 2012, they dropped the quality a whole bunch. I guess they weren't selling well. Hey, look at this. I didn't know that the sticks ever changed. The 3DS XL stick is a different style to the original 3DS stick. The XL version of the Circle Pad is just different to match it. Anyway, the XL has the same battery requirements because it's the same thing in a different package, and inserting the 3DS still blocks off the cartridge port and the stylus. Apparently, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D supports this thing, so this is what we're going to try and play. This game just came off eBay, so I don't know who David is, but I guess we'll play as 10-year-old Majora's Mask file. I was a little bit worried about the massive long intro taking ages. Oh, he's dumped me with the time running out. Oh man, look at this. You get a proper camera control with the right stick. That's amazing. This actually makes this game so much more playable. Aw, David, you barely started this game. How am I going to go back in time and hear all the good music and stuff? Oh well. I want to pull this thing apart and do some hackery anyway, so that's enough gameplay for the moment. Actually, before I do that, I want to stuff around with a fiber optic cable. This is a very cheap fiber optic audio or Toslink cable. It doesn't conduct electricity at all. All that it does is if you shine a light in one end, it shines the light out the other end. Maybe if I stick this to my desk, pointing straight at the receiver for the 3DS, and the other end pointing at the Circle Pad Pro, nothing will happen. Okay, I really did expect that to work, but maybe opening this thing up will explain why it didn't. It's full of Nintendo's usual tri-wing screwdrivers that they like to use for handheld devices, and inside, there's a little bit. I want to pull out the infrared module and have a look at what's going on with it. Ah, okay, that makes sense, and it's what I was sort of thinking. It's not just one-way communication. The Circle Pad Pro has to receive information from the 3DS as well as sending information. There's both a transmitter and a receiver. I can't tell which one's which because they both look identical. For this to work remotely via fiber optic cables like I was hoping, I would need 2 cables going from the 3DS to the Circle Pad Pro. Other than the control stick, the buttons, and the infrared section, we've got this whole controller module here. For some some reason it's got a little G here, which looks a lot like the G from the Sega logo. It's made by Mitsumi, which is normal for Nintendo stuff, but the wires are labelled in either Chinese or kanji. I can't tell the difference unless there's some other Japanese mixed in. This little chip here connects to the battery. It's either going to be a voltage converter or a battery monitor that will cut the power instead of getting weird results when the battery starts to get low. And this one's a custom chip which tells the DS what controls you're fiddling with. I wonder, if I stick this here, kind of lined up with the infrared receiver, will it work? Got the stick down here. It does! There you go. It's not even touching the DS at all, and it is working. I'm just hoping I don't rip that ribbon cable. I've destroyed my fiber optic cable. I've taped the two halves together at the connector. So hopefully these pairs of cables will point to the receiver and transmitter in the circle pad and the DS, and I might be able to get a remote circle pad happening. But, so far I don't. Is it an alignment thing? What about if they're expecting it to cross over? Ha! I think that just worked. It's not working. Oh, why did it go away? It gave me false hope. Oh, it's got to be possible. It's gone away a couple of times, which means I'm so close. Oh, it's working. You see that it worked? Oh, why do you have to time out on me? All right, I'm holding it in just the right spot. And it is working remotely. I couldn't do it with the blue tack. It's much too particular about where I'm pointing, which is strange because of how unparticular it is when it's just the DS. Look how far away from the sensor I can bring the 3DS before it starts being an issue. All the way out here somewhere. It's still working. I've almost gone I fell off the edge and actually physically blocked it. That's why it stopped working. It made it all the way to the edge. But I spent ages trying to line this up, and what you saw was the best I got. The other thing I want to try is whether the DSs work in each other's Circle Pad Pros. They do. Look at that. That's working. So if you wanted to, you could duct tape this 3DS into the XL Circle Pad and it would work. And what about the 3DS XL in the normal DS one? It does work too. It's even more unwieldy than the other way. My thumb is literally under the DS. Ah, look at that. David, you left this at an inconvenient spot for me testing silly accessories. I wanted to have the fun music in the background. I didn't get much of that. And now it's doing cutscenes in my way. You're really letting down the team, David. Now, this is not the entire first-gen 3DS family. What about the least pocketable member, the 2DS? Did this get a Circle Pad Pro? No. No, it didn't. That would be ridiculous. But it does have infrared, so I'm guessing it'll probably work on this too. Of course it does. So maybe someone who's good with a 3D printer could come up with a working Circle Pad Pro for the 2DS. Now the last thing I want to look at is this. In 2014 or 2015, depending on where you live, the new 3DS came out. They did come in a whole range of sizes and flavors, but I've only got a couple of this style. The new 3DS introduced a kind of a right stick. It's a little bit of a cop-out. It is analog, but you kind of just mash it in whatever direction you want. It's not full analog movement like this. And you did also get ZR and ZL as well as R and L. Also, I'll never be happy about companies just sticking new on the front of the successors for their things. New 3DS, new Super Mario Bros., it's even worse than the PlayStation's numbering. At least that makes sense. When this thing came out, they were sold alongside the standard 3DS in the shops, so you could buy a new 3DS or a new 3DS. And now I've got a 10-year-old new 3DS. It's an old new 3DS. But what I've got it out for is to find out what the compatibility is like with the Circle Pad Pro games and the Circle Pad Pros. Kid Icarus Uprising came out way before new 3DS compatibility was a thing. So if this right stick works in this game, it means the new 3DS had Circle Pad Pro compatibility baked in. And does it? Wow, it does! You know, I actually didn't expect that. That's incredible. So this means any Circle Pad Pro compatible game should work fine on a new 3DS with full Circle Pad Pro functionality. So I'm kind of expecting that the Circle Pad Pro won't work because the new 3DS probably took over that signal. Nah, it doesn't. I've had this lined up pretty well right from booting the game. So there's probably no way to make the Circle Pad Pro work on a new 3DS, but you don't have to because compatibility is baked in. But what does that mean for games that specifically support the new 3DS controls? Do they go back and support the Circle Pad Pro? No. Circle Pad Pro games work on the new 3DS, but new 3DS compatible games don't necessarily use the Circle Pad Pro. That's the Circle Pad Pro and the Circle Pad Pro XL. For games that support them, they can either be a literal game changer or almost useless. And for games that don't support them, well, maybe you just like the idea of an extra inch in your hand. Thanks for watching. For early ad-free access to all my videos and at least one exclusive video, you can join me on Floatplane for $2.50 a month. You'll also get a picture of every single video game related thing that I get. Or if you just want those pictures and to be part of my community, there's also a $1 tier for you. The link's in the description. I'll see you there.